Fellow gardeners, let me share something that completely transformed my tomato harvest during those brutal dry spells. After years of watching my prized tomato plants wilt despite my best efforts with traditional watering methods, I discovered the game-changing power of drip irrigation. What started as a desperate attempt to save my struggling plants during a particularly harsh drought season has become the cornerstone of my most successful tomato growing strategy. If you've ever stood in your garden, hose in hand, wondering why your tomatoes aren't thriving despite your daily watering ritual, you're about to discover why drip irrigation isn't just helpful. It's absolutely essential for growing robust, productive tomatoes when water is scarce and temperatures soar. Tomatoes are fascinating plants when it comes to water requirements. Unlike many vegetables that can tolerate some inconsistency, tomatoes demand steady, consistent moisture throughout their growing season. During dry periods, this becomes exponentially more challenging because the plant's natural stress responses kick in, affecting everything from fruit development to disease resistance. When temperatures climb and humidity drops, tomato plants lose moisture through their leaves at an accelerated rate. This process, called transpiration, increases dramatically during hot, dry conditions. Your plants might need 50% more water during peak dry season compared to moderate weather conditions. The challenge isn't just providing enough water, it's delivering it in a way that keeps the soil consistently moist without creating the waterlogged conditions that invite root rot and other problems. Traditional overhead watering during those dry seasons often leads to rapid evaporation, with much of your precious water never really reaching the root zone where it's needed most. Even worse, inconsistent watering creates stress patterns that show up as blossom end rot, cracking, and just plain poor fruit development. This is where understanding your plant's actual needs becomes, well, crucial for successful dry season growing. Drip irrigation delivers water directly to the root zone at a slow, steady rate that matches your tomato plant's natural uptake patterns. During my first season using drip irrigation, I was honestly amazed to discover that my plants were actually getting more consistent moisture while using 40% less water than my previous overhead watering methods. The magic really happens at soil level, where drip emitters release water slowly enough for complete soil absorption without runoff or evaporation losses. This creates what I like to call the moisture sweet spot, that perfect balance where roots have access to water without sitting in soggy conditions. Your tomato plants respond to this consistency by developing stronger root systems, maintaining steady growth, and producing more uniform fruit, even during those extended dry periods. Beyond water efficiency, drip irrigation, really eliminates a lot of those common dry season problems. Wet foliage from overhead watering, well, it just becomes a breeding ground for fungal diseases, especially when you add in the stress of those hot, dry conditions. Drip systems, on the other hand, keep water off the leaves entirely, dramatically reducing disease pressure while still maintaining the consistent soil moisture your plants really crave. Creating an effective drip irrigation system for your tomatoes, honestly, starts with understanding your garden's unique layout and water pressure. I recommend beginning with a simple setup that you can expand as you gain experience. Start by installing a pressure regulator and filter at your water source. These components, they ensure consistent water flow and help prevent clogging that can ruin your system's effectiveness. For tomato plants, I've found that placing emitters 12 to 18 inches apart along the drip line provides ideal coverage. You'll want to position your drip lines about 6 inches from the base of each plant, creating a semicircle around the root zone. This placement really ensures water reaches the entire root system, while avoiding direct contact with the stem, which, as you might know, can encourage fungal problems. The key to success lies in choosing the right emitter flow rate for your soil type. Sandy soils drain quickly and honestly benefit from higher flow rates, somewhere around 2 to 4 gallons per hour, while clay soils need slower rates, maybe about half to 1 gallon per hour, to prevent runoff. I learned this lesson the hard way when my first system created puddles on my clay soil while barely moistening my neighbor's sandy plot. Timer integration, really transforms your drip system from just helpful to totally indispensable. During peak dry season, I run my tomato drip irrigation twice daily, once in the early morning and again in the late afternoon. This schedule provides consistent moisture while letting the soil surface dry out a bit between waterings, which helps prevent fungal issues that just love constantly moist conditions. Timing your drip irrigation, well, it really requires understanding both your plant's daily rhythms and your local climate patterns. Early morning watering, typically between 5 and 7 a.m., allows plants to soak up moisture before the day's heat stress kicks in. This timing also ensures that any water that accidentally contacts foliage will dry quickly as temperatures rise, which, honestly, reduces the risk of disease. The second watering of the day should occur in late afternoon, around 4 to 6 p.m., when temperatures begin to moderate but plants still have time to utilize the moisture before evening. Avoid evening watering, as this can leave soil overly moist overnight, creating ideal conditions for root problems and soil-borne diseases. Duration matters as much as timing. Rather than running your system for long periods once daily, shorter, more frequent sessions work better for tomatoes. I typically run each zone for 30 to 45 minutes twice daily during peak dry season, adjusting based on soil moisture levels and plant appearance. This approach maintains consistent soil moisture without creating the boom and bust cycles that stress tomato plants. Monitor your soil moisture at various depths to fine-tune your schedule. Insert a long screwdriver or soil probe 8 to 10 inches into the soil near your plants. If it encounters resistance or comes up dry, increase your watering duration. If the soil feels soggy at depth, reduce frequency or duration accordingly. Even the best planned drip irrigation systems encounter challenges, and knowing how to address them quickly can mean the difference between thriving plants and disappointing harvests. Clogged emitters are perhaps the most common issue, especially in areas with hard water or high mineral content. Regular system maintenance, including monthly flushing and annual emitter replacement, really prevents most clogging problems. Uneven water distribution often results from pressure variations within your system. If some plants receive more water than others, you should check for kinked tubing, partially blocked emitters, or elevation differences that affect water flow. Installing pressure-compensating emitters solves most distribution problems, ensuring each plant receives consistent water regardless of its position in the system. Plant positioning relative to your drip lines requires ongoing attention as tomato plants grow. Young plants need emitters close to their small root systems, but mature plants benefit from wider water distribution. I adjust emitter placement mid-season, adding additional emitters or relocating lines to match plant growth patterns. System leaks waste water and, create uneven moisture distribution. Weekly system checks help identify leaks early when they're still easy to repair. Look for unusually wet spots, reduced flow from emitters, or visible water pooling. Most leaks actually result from animal damage, UV deterioration of exposed tubing, or connection failures at fittings. Combining drip irrigation with complementary dry season strategies really amplifies your success. Mulching around your tomato plants conserves the moisture delivered by your drip system, while also moderating soil temperatures. Organic mulches like straw or shredded leaves work especially well, since they break down slowly to improve soil structure while maintaining consistent moisture levels. Soil preparation becomes even more critical when you're relying on drip irrigation. Adding compost and organic matter improves your soil's water-holding capacity, making your irrigation efforts a whole lot more effective. Well-amended soil retains moisture longer between waterings, while providing the improved drainage that helps prevent root problems during intensive watering schedules. Plant selection plays a crucial role in dry season success. Heat-tolerant varieties like Phoenix, Heatmaster, and Stupus perform better under dry conditions when supported by consistent drip irrigation. These varieties maintain productivity even when temperatures soar, provided they receive steady moisture through your drip system. Fertilizer management requires adjustment when using drip irrigation. The consistent moisture allows for more frequent, lighter fertilizer applications rather than heavy seasonal feeding. I prefer liquid fertilizers applied through the drip system itself, ensuring nutrients reach the root zone efficiently while avoiding the salt buildup that can occur with granular fertilizers in dry conditions. Implementing drip irrigation for your dry season tomato growing isn't just about installing equipment. It's about, embracing a more efficient, sustainable approach to gardening that works with your plant's natural needs rather than against environmental challenges. The initial investment in materials and setup time really pays dividends in water savings, improved plant health, and dramatically better harvests during even the most challenging dry seasons. Start small with a few plants to gain experience, then expand your system as you refine your techniques. Every garden is unique, and finding the perfect balance of timing, duration, and emitter placement takes some experimentation. The key is, honestly, just consistent observation and a willingness to adjust your approach based on what your plants tell you. Remember that successful dry season tomato growing combines proper irrigation with good cultural practices. Your drip irrigation system provides the foundation, but attention to mulching, soil health, variety selection, and timing creates the complete package that transforms challenging growing conditions into opportunities for exceptional harvests. Ready to revolutionize your dry season tomato growing? If this guide helped you understand the power of drip irrigation for your garden, go ahead and subscribe to Soilsage Chronicles for more in-depth growing strategies and hands-on gardening wisdom. Share this article with fellow gardeners who are struggling with dry season challenges. Together, we can all grow better tomatoes regardless of what Mother Nature sends our way.